Alright y'all, so I was getting the Bobcat ready, you know, for tomorrow. We got just a little job we're going to be doing tomorrow on a homeowner's property. A customer of mine. I've been doing work for him for about 10 years. And yeah. So I was, you know, putting the ramps up. Anyway, so the way this trailer works, you got the ramps, you know, they come up, right? And then this arm right here, see, it holds it on there like that, right? And you just pull that pin and pull that out right there, and drop the ramp. And then this arm right here usually lays down on the ground, you know, where it lays down from that end. It pivots right here. But look right here, y'all. Look at this busted weld. Y'all see that? It's busted all the way from right here all the way to right on the very edge here. And it's really what actually, see that? Look. I mean, if something were to go against this, it could just go on and pop off, and it would just bend. It would just bend this metal back, and this whole thing could come down. You got to pay attention to when you got when you got equipment like I got. I didn't used to always pay attention like I do now, but every time I walk up to a trailer of mine, I look at everything, and I'm always paying attention to things that you might not even think of, you know. Like these grease covers, they're notorious for coming off. See where that one came off and it got grease all over the wheel? I put a new one on there and it wasn't off, not even a day. I got a pack of 12 of them things off Amazon. So I put more grease in there and stuck a new one on there. That's why that wheel's so dirty. Just a lot of little things that you got to pay attention to when you start moving around big equipment, or bigger equipment. This is really not considered big equipment. Bigger than a lawnmower though. So y'all see the welder right here, and this is a Lincoln Electric. It's a Weld Pack 125 HD. I've had it for about 10 years, and it runs off of a regular wall outlet. And you got the gun, right? And this is your ground, okay? And any of you guys have been watching the channel, y'all know, y'all know that I do a pretty good bit of welding. It looks like this light right here needs to be straightened out too. That's another job. Yeah. So when you put the ground on here, well, first of all, I'm gonna grind a clean spot. I want clean metal. It doesn't like to weld good with all this heavy paint on it. And that's why a lot of people don't like to weld the trailers, because, especially new trailers, because, well, it burns the paint up. So I'm not worried about burning the paint up or anything on here, but you can't get a good bead if you got all this heavy paint on there. So I'm gonna put you guys somewhere. Y'all see what it looks like. I'm gonna grind this, clean it up, and get me some good. I want to see some silver metal there. And then I'll grind some off right here to where I can put my ground. The ground needs to clamp to a clean spot too. So, yeah, y'all. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna use the grinder, and we're gonna grind it clean. So let's grind us a spot to ground to. Then you want to clean this off real good too, right? Because you want to make sure you get a good hard bead in there, and the paint always stops you from doing that. So, but that's good enough there. And then you see that, right? I like to put a little groove in there so I can fill it in with weld. So yeah, I like it. So then you get your ground, right? And you put your ground right here, right there. You see how the wire is going into the top of the ground here? It's what you want. You want this to be touching that clean metal. And you want to try to get the metal as clean as you can from where your contact is here to here. I think that's good enough. Then of course on the welder itself, you want to make sure that that the welder's on the right settings and all. Like this is heavy duty steel, you know. So I'm gonna put it up on E. That's hot. See, and it's ready to go. And I never. This right here is the wire speed. Let me show y'all, just in case, just for people that don't know, you know. So that right there is for the wire speed. See, and that's a 1. That's about as fast as I need it. I can't think of any scenario where I need it faster than that. Maybe if you're doing some light metal, but I'm not real good with lightweight metal, man, because you know, like stuff like this right here, I burn through that on that setting. The thing with the biggest trick to welding is you got to get the metal good and hot, and that's where well, that's the biggest difference in a good bead. And of course, well, the bead's got to cover the area it's supposed to cover, but that's the biggest difference in a good bead and a bad bead. Of course, you always got to have a helmet to weld. This is what they call an auto darkening helmet. So I got that little mess out there, and see, you're not gonna get shocked or nothing. You can press the trigger and you can hold that. It's not gonna shock you. So it looks dangerous, and it can be if you're around fuel or anything like that. I've known whole shops to blow up behind somebody welding around, you know, like you know, a bunch of aerosol cans and things like that, starting fluid and stuff like that. So what I'll do is I'm gonna touch this to the ground to go on and cut this off, and so I can start fresh. See? And then here we go, y'all. A little bit too bright. And what you try to do is I try to rotate, you know. Okay, that's one. And then I always clean it up with a wire brush so I can kind of see where I'm at. Make sure I got everything right. That looks pretty good, but I'm an overkill kind of guy, so I want more on there. And you do it while it's still hot. You don't wait till let it cool off. Because the second bead will be better than the first one. So I'm gonna fill in right here, and then I'm probably gonna come right down in here and run another little bead right there. But you see how I'm rotating? I'm doing little circles. See that? And I want to fill in right here. Give me a fresh. And that'll probably do it there, y'all. So now what I do is I clean it up, right? And you don't have to clean it up. I always do. We'll touch this little bump out here with the grinder. Here you go. I like that, y'all. How can you not? And just to make things go a little faster, put your little water on there, cool it all down, right? Let it make sure it's cool, right? And this just takes a lot of practice, man. You know, I've been welding for a long time. I'm not a professional or nothing, but I do enough to get by on my equipment and all. And y'all can see how that looks now. That's a pretty bead. There's a bead. That's what they call a bead. There's a bead right here, y'all see, and then I ran another bead underneath it to support it. And so that's a good looking bead if you ask me. Of course, I'm not no professional welder, but I'll probably just save myself. Well, imagine what you would have to do, y'all. Imagine what you would have to do to get to fix this if you didn't have a welder, right? You'd have to go to a shop that has one. And if you're going to be in this kind of game where you got all this metal and stuff, a welder is mandatory, man. Not so much a plasma cutter, but a welder is mandatory. And when you look at trailers and stuff, just FYI, you can see where they welded this. You see how they welded that? This piece and this piece, and look, they didn't make it all pretty. I mean, but they got that metal good and hot because that's strong. And then they put this on top here and right here to kind of, well, to help out, right? You see, you can just look at any trailer that you have. They welded everything. You know, these are welded. There's a bead right there to hold this onto the frame. Then you got lightweight welding there and here. I mean, you know, everywhere you look, there's welds, you know, everywhere. So it's a good thing to know how to do if you're going to be doing this kind of work, right? Now, you know, otherwise, I'm going to have to take it to the shop to fix that. I will probably have to take this bar off, right? And take it to the shop and have them weld it. Well, that costs, man. I mean, it costs you time, it costs you money, it costs you everything. So, you know, I ain't trying to do all that. All right? And this is just welding 101. This is nothing extravagant. But if you can do this, I mean, you could pretty much weld anything, man. To me, the heavier the steel is, the easier it is to weld. And welding, well, your imagination is the limit. Whenever your imagination tells you can do, you can make. Because you can do all kinds of stuff, man, if you know a basic concept. So this is what they call a wire welder, and about $500 is what I paid for it, you know, 12 years ago. I bought it around 2009. So yeah. And you know, like I said, you ain't got to be no professional welder or nothing. I mean, and I'm certainly not even close to a professional welder. I don't claim to be, but I just save myself downtime and or an accident, right? Because if this thing broke and that ramp comes down while I'm hauling it, then I'm down. I mean, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get that ramp to stay up without this. And then once you break this piece right here, right, then you'll have to buy another piece. You'll have to find it or make one, you know. I could probably make something like that out of some angle or something, but I just avoided all that. So just some things to look at when you're you know, when you're trying to keep your expenses down and you're trying to you know, run a business, man, you know. Yeah, let me try it out right here. Okay. Y'all see? And it's always funny when you paint one little piece, then you realize how rusty and scratched up everything else is, you know. Voila. And that's a wrap. How long did that take me, y'all? If you don't notice it, then you might not ever fix it. And then you got a problem. Oh, I looked at the other one. The other one's good. So, yeah. That's just some, just a little thing that I have to do that you need to do if you're going to be doing this kind of work, man. Yeah. Makes you just want to paint everything now. All right, y'all. Peace out.